Welcome back, and welcome actually to another episode of What's It Really Worth? I'm Raz.
And I'm Rich.
And we're here tonight to discuss Rising Sun. What do you want to say about it?
Go ahead, you start.
Rising Sun was is a Cmon game. It was a Kickstarter that was successful, actually very successful, did well. And it's about feudal Japan, and even by Cmon's own admission, is a game kind of based off diplomacy as its ancestry. It goes to that kind of area of control, negotiation mechanic, but with a very Japanese twist. I think they really pulled that into it.
Yeah. And we are going to be doing the review on the retail version, not the Kickstarter version. The Kickstarter version was absolutely beautiful and stunning.
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten it and you didn't, but that's not the way it worked out. And so, everything we talk about, you'll be able to go out to your own retail store and pick this up.
Actually, yeah, I did a little research before the show. You can still get sealed copies of the original Kickstarter game, but they are going now in excess of almost about $180, $200 a day. They're climbing every week. It seems to be
the
climbing.
retail version goes for
Just about $100.
Okay.
So it's another $100 investment game. You do get, it is 5 players. It's 6 with the Kickstarter. Again, we'll try to stay to the regular retail version, so it will be a 5-player game. There will be, we'll get into all that when we get into value, but it is a beautiful game both ways. But if you're lucky enough to have the Kickstarter, you did pretty well.
Right.
So let's start with MSRP.
All right, so you get a lot with this game. You get some absolutely stunning miniatures for it. Both the clan-related stuff plus the creatures. They really, the sculpts are unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen them, if you haven't seen everybody posting pictures of them painted and what people have done with them, definitely go out and look. Check the forums. Check Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
All of that. You'll see these things are beautiful miniatures.
Yeah.
On top of that, you got a really high quality board.
Yep.
It's a nice matte finish to it. I think it might be a linen finish. Not exactly sure, but I think it feels like a linen finish, which it definitely adds to that old feeling. Especially with the tans that they use, makes it feel a little bit ancient. Then, all your tokens are very, very thick cardstock or chipboard that, really, there's a quality piece. When you put it on the board, you'll be able to easily pick it back up. You're not going to be fumbling for it.
Yeah.
And then you got the player screens with all your information that you need for the game really right there in front of you. Beautiful, stunning artwork for it, but that's Cmon. They always have beautiful artwork.
Yeah. They don't skimp on that kind of stuff.
No.
The overall very, very nice. I was a little bit shocked, and I had spoken to Rich about this more from a fan's point of view. I was a little shocked that the cardboard you get with the base set also wasn't laminated or finished like the board was. So to me, they feel a little, don't get me wrong, they're thick, they're really good, but I'm just always afraid of catching them. So I don't know, that was a little bit, you can always hit them with a photo thing, they're not going to get hurt by doing that. But yeah, that's probably the only thing I would say. Otherwise, there's every army has 2 sculpts for their base soldiers, so don't let that confuse you. So what they call the bushi are going to actually have 3 miniatures with 2 different sculpts, so you'll get six of them. Your Shintos are gorgeous. I mean, the priests that move around the board, it's just a really pretty.
Absolutely. So the reviewers, and we agreed with them, they gave the MSRP value 4.0, and I think that's absolutely amazing for what you get.
Very fair, very fair. Okay, so setup and replay. Setup and we're gonna have to cut into this because I wrote the wrong thing. Setup and I'm drawing a
Setup playtime.
Right, which I didn't. Yeah. Now I'm gonna cough. Okay, so we'll pick it up from and setup and playtime. So setup and playtime they gave a 4. The setup on the game is actually not bad. It pulls apart really quickly, and you can throw the game together within about 5 or 10 minutes. The bugger is getting everything to fit back in the plastic.
Yeah.
In the
takedown, we'd probably give it like 2. But for setup, playtime, if you're not worried about taking everything down, if you're playing at your own house and you don't have to worry about
cleaning it up,
exactly, then setup very quick and easy. We were up and going in just a couple of minutes, and the playtime itself, you play through 3 seasons.
Yep.
And they move fairly quickly. The negotiation aspect of it, depending on the players you're playing with, could go on a little long. But, if everybody's pretty quick about that, most of the other stuff goes very quickly.
Yeah. Something you may want to do is either put a dot of paint color on your trays. That was a suggestion someone gave me. If you have a Brother P-Touch from God Only Knows When or some other form of labeling it, just label them. If you're going to go with what I've done with Conan and use a miniatures bag, even easier. But some of these monsters, especially if you have extensions onto the game and stuff, or other it is a little bit of a bugger to put away. As far as the setup and playtime though, I think that's right, and they gave it a 4. Like I said, I think that works really, really well. Negotiations can be a little funky, especially the first time you're playing, not knowing what you should offer or give.
Right.
But once you're an experienced player, I was able to get through this 3 or 4 times now. It does change it, and it becomes rather fun. We actually had a game where my opening move was to pay everyone at the table not to ally with another guy, with another player. James, that's for you. So
and the first time I played, the first alliance, you and I allied first, but then the second season, there was a lot of back and forth with, 2 people who didn't want to ally together because one of them got screwed last time. So I kind of just sat there and waited for them to make me the best offer.
Yeah, so patience works. And this is one of the neat things with the tiles when you do an ally is it's actually officially formulated, and all players know who's together. There's none of this 3-way deals. If I get this, I'll give him that, and you get this. That's where the diplomacy, they've made it much neater.
Right.
And an alliances do mean something in this game.
Correct, and that's what I like. There's an actual tangible benefit to having an alliance.
Correct.
During the turn itself, not just a you take this, I take that kind of agreement. It's, as players play their turns, if you're allied with somebody, you get the benefit that other player you're allied with got.
Yeah, the mandates, and there are 5, and we'll show them to you as we go. The mandates actually have, you get 2 of each, and you'll only play 7, okay? But the nice part about it is there is a bonus for always being in an alliance. So you and your ally may, for instance, under the marshal, not only be able to move your men, you'll be able to put up a stronghold. Anyone not in that alliance cannot build strongholds that turn.
Correct.
So by playing marshal twice quickly, you may stop another team from ever putting a stronghold out that turn. So there's a lot of little clicks and things moving pieces, even though it feels very straightforward. There's some intricacy to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that brings us to learning curve.
All right, so learning curve. So Bruno was teacher again on this one. Explaining the rules and then actually watching them play out, the game is not that difficult. If I had actually read the rules before coming down and going through the playtest with you, I probably would have been able to jump right in.
Yeah.
As it was, the rules got explained, we started playing the first turn, and all of it made perfect sense. It's very logical in how things are done. There's not a lot of, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So, the group gave learning curve a 4, which again I think is great. It's just very, very quick to learn.
Yeah, we had a player who had learned this at a convention and did not have a teacher he said that he felt comfortable with, and they were referring back to the rules. He scored it a little bit lower, but he also said that it was, again, it's the first time learning it, and it's the first time the guy was trying to teach it, I'm sure. So don't get frustrated if maybe you forget a simple little thing. But for the most part, with the exception of the political mandates you're going to play, everything else is pretty much explained either in iconography or on your card.
Yeah.
It really does cover most of what you need to know.
Yep.
And it'll also help you along with the honor track, and this is where you'll place the gods that you can pray to. But the honor track, very much like Game of Thrones, if you have the Iron Throne, you break ties in only certain situations. In this game, honor runs the board.
Yes.
If honor breaks ties in everything, whether it's battle, whether it's at a god, whether it's a mandate, whatever it is, this runs it all. Saying that, though, do you think it's overly done?
The honor track?
Yeah.
No, I like the honor track.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about the honor track. if your strategy doesn't involve it.
Right.
My strategy, what I was doing, made it very hard to do anything on the honor track, so I just had to work around it.
Yep.
Other people, definitely took the honor track, and they did different strategy. But you're not dependent on that honor track, which is nice.
Right. There are actual monsters and that are in the game that you can summon and things you can do that actually want you to have the lowest honor.
Yeah.
So you can play from both ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
So which is really nice. It doesn't just punish you for not paying attention to that one mechanic. So that's really, really cool. The other thing, just before we get off this into the replayability part, these monsters are phenomenal looking, and they are seasonal. So when you play, Rich said you play over 3 seasons and score on the 4th. It's funny because the smaller monsters come out early in the game,
right,
and then the larger ones keep coming as you go. So it's not, you don't put something down so overpowering in any one season where the other teams can't even deal with it.
Right.
But we also found, and I've seen happen, when these monsters do start to hit areas, players want them to get together. So not building a lot of monsters can also be a strategy because it kept me under the radar for the Kaiju WrestleMania that occurred on the board.
Yeah,
so
the first time when I played, the creature I took was not the biggest creature, but it had a benefit that fit to the strategy that I was doing.
Right.
And everybody kind of, because I was the first one to put one out on the board, everyone kind of avoided it. But for me, it was like, go ahead and attack it. It just comes back.
Yeah, the Phoenix, yeah, very much so. So again, there's many, many ways of of not only playing and winning, but of doing well. And you don't have to. You can flip flop per season.
Yes.
Because at the end of every season, you'll come back to the tea room and you'll renegotiate. So if you don't like how your ally played that turn, no problem. Break the alliance and go on to someone else.
Right.
So, okay, replayability.
All right. So replayability. There are 6 clans to start.
5
clans to start. Each clan really has a different strategy to it. The creatures that come out provide a different strategy to it. What order that your battles are being fought in.
Yeah, makes a big difference. And can change.
What gods are out. What tiles are being fought. There's so many different variables that are not complex, but that affect how the game can be played. If I played it now, my strategy would be completely different because I get a different set of what's going on in the beginning.
So yeah, I agree. It's up there. I gave it a 5. It came in a little bit lower for the group. It was a 4, but I think that was just because, again, it is. Will it hit the table every time that you? I mean, like every time you have a desire to play Rising Sun, can you find a good 5 to play? Maybe not, because of the type of game it is.
The replayability, I think, has to be scored a little bit lower because you need minimum 3 people.
Exactly. Okay, that's a great point. Yeah, that's
so
true.
If it's just you and a spouse or you and a friend, you're not going to be able to pull this out.
Nope.
You need that 3rd player, and I think that kind of lowers the replayability a little bit.
Some people like to have a spouse and someone else when they pull it out. Though, I mean, that's not for everyone, so you can understand where Rich is coming from on that point. He's done that pull-out joke twice now, and it always pays off. It's a fabulous.
Okay, so yes,
I'm 12.
Requiring 3 players does score a little bit lower on replayability.
Yep.
A lot of games are moving to that, 1, 2, 1+ players being able to play, and this does not.
No.
So, I can see it getting scored a little bit lower. I know you like to give it a 5 because you love the genre.
Yep.
You love how the mechanics played out. You love the diplomacy because you love being able to screw people over.
Well, there goes my chance at Gen Con this year. Thanks, Rich.
Yeah. I think the 4 is absolutely
it's fair.
appropriate.
Yeah, I think 4 is fair. Yeah. And that brings us to genre. Now, this one, it scored a lot higher than I thought.
The genre scored high. I think that the Asian theme does appeal to a lot of people. The diplomacy is not a heavy, dense diplomacy.
No.
It's more of a, yes, no kind of thing without having to say, okay, here's all the specifics I'm going to do, here's all the specifics you're going to do. It's, all right, we're going to be allied, you do this, I do this, and there's a tangible benefit outside of that. So I think that diplomacy doesn't feel quite as heavy to some people.
Right.
Makes it more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's an area control.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. But it's a pretty one. And Rich was saying, this is the battle track, and what will happen is, depending on the number of players, you'll draw. There's 8 zones. You'll draw those zones randomly and place them in the order that you drew them, from 1 to 8, or in a 3-player game, I believe it's 1 to 5. That has such an effect on the play, because as you're going through, if you win the first battle, one of the interesting mechanics is you give away all the coin you spent to the houses that lost, so that they may maintain some semblance of honor and be able to continue their campaign. Well, that may have burned you out, but now you've got to fight in the 4th position, in the 4th province, which randomly generates every time, and now you have no money. And it can totally change the negotiation tactics.
Right, and it also affects your strategy.
Yeah.
Again, first time I played, I purposely lost the first battle. I bid the minimum amount necessary to still bid. My opponent really wanted the territory. It didn't matter to me, because I knew I'm going to go all in on the next one, because I know they're going to dump all this money into it. And
paid him off. Basically, that's paying you back by losing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, there is a strategy to actually losing battles and to committing seppuku.
And even committing seppuku. Yeah, there is definitely. So the genre of a 4, like I said, I was shocked by that. I thought it was going to be a little lower, like 2.5 to 3, because so many people. I mean, what is diplomacy called? The game that ruins friendships. This doesn't have that feeling.
No, it really didn't.
This doesn't hurt. Even when you're not in an alliance, even if you're the rogue player on a 3-player game this turn, doesn't. I mean, yes, there's a benefit here, but it doesn't hurt you that bad. You can still get around it. So yeah, I loved it. So overall, 20, one of the higher games we've rated.
Yes, yeah, and I think it's absolutely worth it. And out of the 20s we've scored, I think this is probably the one that would make it to the table most often.
Okay.
Because it's very straightforward. You don't have to be in a certain mindset to play. If you like area control games, you'll pull it out.
Yep.
Where some of the other ones where we scored 20 and up, they had very specific things that were very beautiful and great about them.
Yep.
But you might have to be in a mood to really get that one out. Whereas this, I think I would pull this one out if I was having a regular game week.
Yep.
I would pull this out probably every other week.
Okay. Yeah, I would too, although my spouse doesn't like it. She just not very much in area control. But still, she recognized the value of the game and saw how well it was put together and the concept. Would just prefer to play something a little different.
Yeah.
So for us, not so much, but still overall pretty good. So okay, so any other big news? Anything coming up?
Oh, let's see. All right, so it's April.
Yep.
We've got some stuff in the works that Raz and I are working on that we're not going to share yet.
Not yet.
Maybe soon. But, teasers soon.
Yeah.
We are still working on adding some additional video content.
Yeah, we're trying to get that
I've got, unfortunately, quite a few Kickstarters going, or actually ended, and I'm just waiting for stuff to come in, and I can start talking about it a little bit more.
Good.
Some of it's just some oddball things. One thing I'm actually really looking forward to, and I'll probably have in another month or two, something called Postcard Dungeons.
Okay.
That I'm looking forward to showing, because it's just odd. It's not a big setup, and
Right.
Very inexpensive.
Cool.
So other than that, I got nothing else.
DexCon coming up in July, 2 months away. We will be there. There will be we'll be there in the evenings on a couple of
You realize
days.
it's almost 3 months away.
3 months away. It's also 3 months away. But yeah, somewhere in that we'll be there. And right now, it looks like we're going to be at Gen Con, so we're both going to be able to be there. So that's going to be. We're excited about that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some stuff going on at Gen Con, and probably do some filming over there too.
Absolutely. I'm sure of it. So.
Try and get some new stuff that's coming out and take a look at that. But that's down the line yet. We'll try and give you.
We'll keep you up to date on that stuff.
Bigger stuff going on later.
Okay. Well, that's it for Rising Sun. If you have a chance to pick up the copy, please do so. If you can get or find someone who's willing to dump theirs a little bit cheaper with the
I don't think
Kickstarter. Yeah, no.
Unless it's somebody that just buys it because it's Kickstarter and then tries to resell it.
Yeah, other than that, probably not. But that's Rising Sun from us, and we'll see you next time.
All right. So long.
Good night, everybody.